It always happens. I push record when you are laughing. It never never fails. It
You
never
guys,
fails.
Jordan has a
You
dead
guys.
fly on his window, and
There's
I'm
multiple
concerned.
ones. Look in the lights. They're all over. It's crazy town. It's crazy town up in here. I told this one guy, he's the deacon at our church. He doesn't listen to this podcast, but I wish he would, because he was going to put lights in my office, and he never did.
Am I married to him?
When you go home, be like, hey, what happened to Jordan's lights? Because the man's got dead flies all over the place, and it's because this crazy. I hate this lighting. I hate overhead lighting. It drives me bonkers.
So don't turn them on.
No. We were going to put pocket lights in it that were dimmable.
Oh.
And then it would be so much better, but he has not done that.
I feel like it's like one of those situations where like you have like your entire house decorated, but then you get to the
lighting
master. No, you get to the master bedroom, and you're like, I'm not gonna focus on that.
Let's throw a mattress on the floor. That's fine.
Like it's the same thing. Like you'll focus on the church, but then like you're the pastor.
Hey, it's just his office. It's not a big deal. It's not like anybody goes in there. Let's put a giant buffalo head in there. What's up, dude?
Well, hi, everyone.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Grease and Grace. My name is Jordan.
My name is Kim.
Joined with me, as always, is Miss Kim.
I'm eating lunch right now.
I wonder why people call you Miss Kim, because it should be Mrs. Kim. But Mrs. Kim makes you sound Oriental.
Which I am not.
We're canceled.
I'm not.
That's funny how that does it. Miss Kim makes you sound one way. Mrs. Kim makes you sound.
Do people
completely
call
different.
you Mr. Jordan?
Like
so
people don't know what to call me. they have no idea, because I do so many things. They have no idea. They're like, Mr. Muck. Oh, one of the little kids, he calls me Mr. Muck. He's like, Mr. Muck.
Mr. Muck.
Mr. Muck. I love that. That's my favorite.
What's up, Mr. Muck?
Mr. Muck. My dad's Mr. Muck, but the way he says it is not even close to being like in there. Anyway, hey, it's good to be here. It's good to be present in the world.
Baby.
Another week. We doing all the things. You got feedback, Kim, before we get into it. Kim is shoving food in her face.
Because it's so delicious.
Yeah, like Chef Kim over here with her deliciousness.
I made like a sushi bowl. Yeah.
That sounds like modern slang. Sushi bowl!
Like, it would be like, imagine if like Chipotle did sushi, but without rolling it into sushi. Almost like a poke bowl, but this is hot.
Like Panda Express and Chipotle had a baby.
Yes.
That'd be
You're
an
like,
interesting
I
job.
want the white rice. I want the spicy tuna. And so I put a bunch of veggies in it.
Matter of fact, just let me back there and let me put whatever I want in my bowl.
Don't steal the idea. Maybe I'll come up with Okay, anyways.
Give me the feedback, Kim.
We have feedback. We have 2 people who emailed into the show.
Bum, bum, bum.
Which, if you have not emailed into the show, make sure that you do. Like, respond to us. This is a conversation.
Why you gotta be hating on
Don't hold back
silence?
your comments.
Yeah,
don't hold back the comments. Maybe
fly.
because they're holding them back because we read them.
They're like,
anyways,
this is good.
if you have feedback, if you just want to chat with us, greaseandgracepod@gmail.com.
And if you don't want us to read it, just say, hey, don't read this on the show. And we won't do it. But
there might be a chance
but
that
we'll
I say
allude to it.
We both, you missed it. Jordan and I both like made a look at each other. Like, it was like when Carmen and Jen.
Yeah.
There was another conversation. Carmen and Jen were on our back to school episode a couple
They looked at each other like
weeks ago.
4 times, and we're like, we don't know what just happened and transpired, but okay.
So anyways,
Here we go.
So the first one.
Number 1.
It says, I am a truck driver. I'm known in the world as a concrete cowboy. I deliver concrete supplies for highways, buildings, different things. The greasy part is the people that cut you off because they're in a hurry or when the equipment breaks down.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen
He's referring
videos?
to last week's episode.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Have you ever seen like when semi trucks just like plow through cars?
Oh, 100%.
And
yeah.
like,
or like trains. Trains do it too. There's a bunch of videos of like
they
trains.
can't. Yeah. Don't be idiot drivers, people. If you're listening to this in your car, don't cut off a semi driver.
As a matter of fact, do the honk thing.
I have the boys do that.
I think truck drivers love it.
They do.
They do.
Not a lot of truck drivers get that anymore.
You
like
should.
kids don't know because they're on their tablets and stuff like that.
Get off your tablet and make the
Teach your
semi
kids how to honk the arm honk.
man.
Yeah,
100%.
that was like the most exciting part of like
Pull the
road
cord.
trips,
Yeah.
especially with friends. Like I remember for 8th grade at our school, we go to
man.
Washington, D.C., but we take like these giant charter buses. And so like you can imagine like, I don't know, 50 kids on a charter bus, all
man.
like pumping their arm at you.
Which-
Like I'd be like, I'm their hero today. I'm their hero, folks.
Or they're like all pumping their arms and it's like tinted windows so nobody can see a thing. They're like, we've been doing this for 50 trucks and none of them. And you're like, yeah, because the windows are tinted. That's the adult side of things. Like when you're like, oh, yeah, guys, keep going. Don't worry. Oh, I wonder why people can't see you. Anyway, carry on.
So yeah, he just said, that's the greasy part is the people that cut you off.
Yeah.
So don't cut off semis.
I feel you, concrete cowboy.
Yeah.
I feel you, man.
Oh man, I should respond with that. I feel you, concrete.
I feel you.
Cowboy. And then the grace part is that he's just always liked to drive. And it's crazy to me that there are people.
There are people that love to drive.
who
Yeah.
love to drive.
Very therapeutic.
And yeah, like I'm good for like a small span of time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the longest drive that we ever took was 18 hours, and I was like, I'm never driving ever again.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That was a really long time. We stopped in Mississippi and slept in the back of our car because we
Get
were
outta
heading
here.
down to Louisiana, and I was like, I'm never doing this ever again.
Ugh.
The longest that I think we'll ever drive anymore is like 12 hours.
Driving in a car, I've learned having kids is a counseling session, but it's not just with kids. It's with like, if you want to talk to somebody who you have an issue with or just get like a good conversation going, there's something about both parties staring out the front window and not having to look at each other.
Yeah.
And you can just talk. And a lot comes out in those conversations.
I've actually heard of like, especially for people who have middle schoolers
100%.
as kids,
Yep.
like if you need to have a hard conversation,
just go in the
then
truck,
get in the
car,
car
whatever, yeah.
and just cruise, and like so much more flows out
It works.
because you're not looking at each other. So I
My-
don't have a middle schooler yet. So I don't know.
my daughter and I, we do this every week. She rides horses, and on the way to horses, she's allowed on her tablet. You know, she's just like coming down from school, and then on the way back, like we talk about school and life and all that other stuff, and it's like our time. Like, and it's
Aw.
better than just like sitting across the table from somebody because you have like a destination that you're going to. So it's really cool.
And during those like awkward silences, you can kind of like
Yeah. Or
look at random things.
but in the awkward silences, like it's cool,
Mhm.
like because you're both just chilling. Like,
You're just watching cars go by.
yeah. What's the other feedback?
So the other one, hang on, I need to take a drink. He's sound effecting. That's not what the water sounded like, guys.
Nope.
So the other one, she says, "Hey there, I know I'm late to the show, but I had to reach out after."
Hey, you're not late. If you're
I
here,
know.
you're right on time.
You're right where you need to be.
You
baby.
are exactly where God wants you in this world. Don't worry about it.
That
If you are
scared me a
listening
little
to
bit.
our show, you are in the Lord's will. That's not true. I can't say that. Like, I'm sorry.
That's gonna be a moment when you get to heaven, and Jesus is gonna be like,
No.
So,
What?
hey, what
Hey.
about September?
Hits that play button. He's like, you're the one that recorded it, so I'm
You
gonna play
said
it back.
it.
You said it.
Um,
Anyway, we're glad you're here.
So she said, I just had to reach out after listening to your ocean episode.
Oh, come
which
on.
I think, honestly,
Come on.
surprisingly, has gotten the most feedback
Mm-hmm.
out of all of them, which still floors me. Ocean floors me. See what I did there? So she said, I absolutely love your podcast and really hope you continue. I laughed when you made that joke about the 2 listeners left, with one being a scuba diver. Guess what? That's me. I started scuba diving in 2020 and love it.
Oops.
She said she agrees with you, Jordan, about the marketing potential for underwater
100%.
habitation. If you build it, they will come. Is that from Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
Mhm. Is that the movie where the girl chokes on a hot dog?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like literally the only part of that movie.
That's the only part you saw. That's it.
And my brother loved that movie, and
Yeah,
that's all I
yeah,
remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, she just said, I'm all about exploring the sea, and it would be awesome to see more research and exploration in that area. By the way, there's already a National Ocean Administration
What?
called, it's pronounced NOAA. Interestingly
that's
enough.
Weird. Yeah. Good for you.
NOAA. So she said, can't wait to listen to the next episode. So thank you for that, Scuba.
Hey, listen here.
Scuba girl.
When you're out there scubaing all around, you stake out your land and you put your little flag down and you say, this is where I'm going to live.
Start building that foundation, baby. We'll figure out the rest.
Just put a Grease and Grace plaque over top of your house. That's all I ask.
That's where the first Grease and Grace logo will go. Yeah, so those are our 2 feedbacks.
You're not late to the party. You're not. You are right on time. You are where you need to be. So thanks for listening. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for emailing us and chatting with us. It's always nice to see those come in.
So every week we take on a new topic. Sometimes it can be a current event. Sometimes it can be pop culture. Sometimes it can be the ocean.
It's only going to be the ocean ones, Jordan.
We're going to talk about water. But what we do is we break the podcast in half. So we look at the greasy side of things. When we say greasy side of things, essentially what we're talking about is like things that are frustrating or drive us nuts or whatever the case is. Yep. Like that's the greasy side of things. Graceful things are what we some positives in there. You know, we look at it. This is not a yin yang type of thing either. So just pump the brakes on that one. But we have a unique blend of humor and insight. Sometimes we share our lack of insight because we have no idea what we're talking about, and sometimes we nail it. So just get ready, buckle up, because here we go. Because this week we are talking about social media.
Social media. I feel like I'm going to have so many more greases than I will have graces.
You might. All right. So
I don't know about you, but
let's define it before we go any further, because we need to talk about what we're actually talking about, because we realize that some of these topics could just go on some tangents, right? They could run themselves ragged.
That's true.
So social media are interactive technologies that facilitate the creation, sharing, and aggregation. Sorry, my fault. I could not see that over my microphone.
That word?
Aggregation would be in computing. So like feeds, news, stuff like that.
I didn't know there was like a word for that.
There is. So that's like online newspapers, blogs, podcasts, video blogs, stuff like that. I digress.
So we're aggregating right now.
I would think so. See, this is where we show our somebody's like, some tech guy out there's like, this is ridiculous. Hey, greaseandgracepod@gmail.com. Hit us up. We need help. Okay. So
educate us.
Yeah. If you're not good on the microphone and you're good on the keys, let us know. We can utilize your talents. Yeah. 100%. Or if you like to clicky clack with the mouse, like, come on in. All right. Anyway, such as, so interactive technologies that facilitate the creation and sharing, we're just going to go with that, of ideas, interests, and other forms of expression among virtual communities and networks. So, like, here are some social media platforms. There are over 100 million registered users on these popular social media platforms. Twitter, Facebook, WeChat, never heard of that.
WeChat?
Mm-hmm. Oh. ShareChat, never heard of that. Instagram, Pinterest, which I do Pinterest.
I don't count Pinterest as...
It's totally a social media because you can populate articles. And not articles, but like content. Like you could like, hey, this is like the outfit I wore today, and you're contributing to the
I guess that's true. I don't use Pinterest like that. I use it. I guess I'm the consumer of Pinterest.
Oh, I am. Like, I have an account, and I'm not posting anything.
And
then I'm gonna ghost you.
Don't think
if you're gonna
post anything.
If you're gonna reach out to me, I'm ghosting you.
I just look for ideas.
Yeah, 100%.
You can find all of the ideas.
They're all there. Some other ones that I don't know: Qzone, Weibo, VK. I know what Tumblr is. Badatiba. Never heard of that.
What?
Threads, and of course,
Threads is from Instagram now.
LinkedIn. If you're 70.
Or a business person. I once set up a LinkedIn account. I have a LinkedIn account, but I have no idea how to get into it. I don't know. A lot of people use LinkedIn in the professional world.
Oh, I have a LinkedIn, but
nope.
yeah.
I think I probably should since I'm in corporate, but like,
yeah, you might want to get into that.
I don't know if it's
I don't know
necessary.
or not. Now, here's what's crazy is some other social platforms that are around that could be social media include YouTube, Letterboxd, which I don't know what that is. WhatsApp, I do know what that is. Snapchat, Reddit. I think Reddit is the biggest social media platform ever, but that's just me.
Really? Over Facebook?
100%. There's so many people that use Reddit. It's crazy. Reddit is a dangerous thing. Anyway, and then you have Discord and TikTok and Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
So, there we go.
All right. What was your first social media?
MySpace.
That was your first?
AOL Instant Messenger.
I don't know. I guess you put like
that's
the
kind
little,
of right. I mean, it's not.
I guess
everybody can't see what's going on though. Well, but then again, neither can you on Facebook, right?
Did you have a Zynga?
I did have a Zynga. What? You just like introduced me to an old friend. That's crazy.
Zynga was my first.
I wonder if it's still
there's no way. I think they deleted a lot of them. So for you youngins who don't know what social media Zynga is, that was like,
you don't even know.
That was like the MySpace before MySpace. Bro. So you could go on. It was a blog,
yeah.
but like everybody followed it, and you just like wrote about your day and like commented on like.
Yeah.
It was. Is that the one where you could customize your page, or was that MySpace?
100%. And it took forever because in college people had Zyngas, and then you'd be like at like the dining comments, and you'd be talking, you'd be like, that fool, like he said on his Zynga, you know what I mean? And you're like, what? You know, like, and your professors are sitting there like, what's a Zynga? We're like, hey, this is not a table for professors.
So you were in college before MySpace.
Probably like right around that time. Yeah. I don't know
what a time to be alive.
Oh,
so
man.
Also for you youngins, prior to Facebook and the boom that was Facebook.
The youngins don't like Facebook. They hate it.
No, but I mean, like at one point in time, Facebook was like it.
Yep.
You had Facebook. I remember I was a freshman in college because
you had to be in college. You had to be in college. Yeah.
And so when I got my college email, you can guarantee that I started my Facebook up.
Did you add Mark as a friend?
Absolutely, 100%. I had Mark. And I was like, I remember like going, because at that point I was living in Kansas, so I was looking at like all of my friends from back home from Indiana, and like it opened up a whole new world.
Yeah.
But before Facebook, there was MySpace. MySpace was like my high school days.
August 1st, 2003.
Was MySpace?
Yeah. That's when it launched.
Okay.
So you're probably talking, so like full transparency, you're probably looking at like 2004, or 2005 would be like, we're peaking.
Yeah. And that was when I was in high school. Yeah. So that's, but it was kind of similar to Zynga in that you created little posts about, like, it wasn't as long as Zynga. Zynga was like you could write an entire book.
You could write as long as you wanted. Yeah.
But MySpace had like a cap, I believe.
Yep.
And you could customize. Like you could, I can't
say
the
MySpace
name of that show.
Were crazy.
Yeah, but like people got into coding.
Yeah.
Because that was how you were able to like decorate the page. And then the most controversial aspect of MySpace was your top
5 friends.
No, it's top 8.
Oh, it's 8. It started out as 5 though, didn't it?
Did it? I don't know.
Yeah. Top 5 was like you first had top 5 and then it became top 8. I remember that.
Because people were like, I need more friends.
Yeah.
So it was like the social situation. Like you knew where you stood in the rankings.
Oh yeah.
Of your friend.
And people would like switch it, and then
if you
it would
got
be
mad?
like. And then there were some people, it was just Tom. They kept Tom Anderson as their number 1, just to like avoid
any. I
wonder
what he's doing now. Tom, can you reach
he,
out?
He had a white T-shirt on. Remember that? And it was like him at his desk.
And he's like turned, like He's not. It's not a full face. It's like you said his name, and he was in front of you, and he turned and smiled at you.
It's like, hey Tom.
Click.
And then boom, he was there.
Yeah, but you
so
could
funny.
upload your photos. I'm glad that I don't have MySpace. You could attach your songs. Like there were different songs.
You could put a player in there.
Yeah, and so like you could load songs, and so when people went to your MySpace page, then a certain song would automatically start up.
We're in straight nostalgia right now.
We are, but I am so glad because based off of my early Facebook posts that have popped up every once in a while, I'm like, oh, girl, you have had a radical transformation since then.
Yeah, right.
I'm so glad that I don't have my MySpace anymore. Aside from like, I had so many photos because that was like, that was the thing. Like, you had a fun night. You like went to prom, and then you would post all of your pictures like you would on Facebook. But Facebook like went through a whole rebranding and got rid of a lot of accounts.
Yeah.
And so I don't have an account there anymore. I don't have any of my photos, which really stinks because like I didn't print my photos.
No, you wouldn't have saved anything. Listen to this. Tom Anderson travels globally with friends to locations such as Thailand and Myanmar, where he primarily focuses on taking pictures of landscapes.
Like for Google Photos?
That's what he's doing now.
That's a cool job. Way to go, man. I'm proud of you.
Well, I don't know if he's taking pictures for anybody else. I think he might just be hanging out, like doing drugs. Who knows, man? Like, I'll pray for you, buddy. Like, that's crazy.
We're going to say he's doing like National Geographic work where he's shedding light on lands unknown to us.
Or he just made a ton of money and was like, dude, we're good. Like, when we're done.
That's how some celebrities have done that. Like Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's done. He's out.
He was like the James Bond. And now he's like made his money. He just wants to retire and have fun. And so apparently like the way that he played it for a really long time was like he would do one movie enough to like keep up with the lifestyle that he was enjoying.
And then that's it.
And then he's done.
That's crazy.
How nice would that be?
All right, Kimbo, give me the greasy side of things. What do you got?
Oh, man, I got so many greases. First and foremost, this is coming fresh off of a deletion of some social media because it is so addicting. It's so addicting. And so, like, I just deleted my TikTok because that one was, like, a big... it's just so easy to scroll.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
true.
So, like, there's so many people who are, like, addicted to, like, it's turned into this, like, people think that we care. And I'm not saying that I don't care about your life, but, like, I don't need to see 17 pictures of you.
Why don't you unfollow?
Like, posing.
Why don't you just unfollow?
I have unfollowed.
I have.
But there's, like, so many people who do it. And, like, I don't need to see you in the same dress 15 times in different lighting with different smiles and different poses, all because you thought that you looked good. You looked great. Pick the top one.
And then just go for that.
And be okay with it. Like, I enjoy seeing, like, when people travel, I'm like, oh, that's a really cool place. Like, I might want to go there.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
But then it says, like, 96 photos next to it. You're
I don't need 96 photos of
come
rocks.
Come on. Yeah.
Like, show me the pretty landscape.
Yeah.
Give me enough to be like, oh, that's interesting.
I have 3.1K friends on Facebook. I follow 0. On Instagram, I can't remember how many people I follow, 0. And the reason for that is because, one, people will come up to me sometimes. They're like, hey, did you see my Facebook post? And I will legitimately tell you, no, I did not. I did not see it. I'm a contributor, not a consumer. So if you want me to see it, like, send it to me. You know what I mean?
How do you find how many people you follow?
Well, here's what I did. This happened like 2 years ago. Actually, a little bit longer than 2 years ago. Every day for probably 3 months, I would go and I would unfollow 10 people at a time.
Oh,
and so after I think it took like 3 or 4 months, and after 3 or 4 months, like, I didn't follow anybody. And now my feed on Facebook, because people always want to know, like, well, what's in your feed? Either ads, which you can just go ahead and cancel out, or it's my posts. So my whole Facebook feed is gone. Like, I don't have one.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's all gone.
Interesting.
Yep.
Huh. I don't know how many people I follow, but
it's too time consuming. Like you cannot. There is no way. And this would be my grease. So we're kind of like moving into, like, I'm just gonna partner with you if that's okay.
Make it happen.
The endless scroll. Endless scroll is the death.
Doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling. Yeah. It is the death of your time. Like, whether that be... Now, Instagram's harder because Instagram, if you don't follow anybody, like, it still has a feed. So it will put things that you're interested in your feed. And you just go ahead and scroll through that. And it's like, dude, you spend way too much time.
Which I almost use Instagram more as a search engine anymore for my job specifically.
I could see that. Yeah. You use the hashtags?
I use the hashtags just to look up different dishes and stuff like that, just for like inspiration. And
but you said you use Pinterest for that too, right?
Well, so I use Pinterest, but I've found that anything with Pinterest is going to be a little bit more like hometown. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be like any kind of highly gourmet X, Y, and Z. Whereas Instagram, it's really geared towards, like, Pinterest is like, here, click on this link to follow my recipe.
Yeah.
Instagram is, look at how delicious I made this food.
Gotcha.
Kind of a thing. And so from that, a lot of times, like, people will post like hashtag, I don't know, pork belly.
And then you can just click off of that.
And then I can click on pork belly if that's what I'm trying to like create a dish off of, and just see what people have done. And I mean, like, there's a dessert that I just came up with that I'm so excited to make, but it's an inspiration from something that I saw long ago. Yeah. And
so how do you save it then? How do you save that content? You screenshot it?
No, I have a save tab where I like foodie save tab. Gotcha. But so now my Instagram is curated mostly for like mom jokes and food, specifically desserts and seafood for some reason. I look at a lot of seafood. So, but I don't like look at it for people. Facebook is the people.
Yeah, like, well, and Facebook, so even though I don't follow anybody on Facebook, if you click the search Facebook bar, it will bring up, like, the people that I look at the most. So there's, like, 8 to 10 people who will say, like, one new post or whatever the case is. So for me, like, it's just keeping my hands off of those specific spots, because then you can go from one to the next to the next to the next. But doom scrolling is a real thing. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
and the what do they call it? It's a slot machine in your mind. So like people always wonder like why people go to slot machines, because it drips like little endorphins into your brain. What is that?
Dopamine
book. Endorphins, dopamine. I have the book somewhere. Stolen Focus by Johann Hari is one of those books that talks about that, like how you can't focus and stuff like that. And then there's another one, I can't think of what the actual title was. I gave it away. But anyway, it's got that same mentality to it where like you feel quote unquote happy, but then all of a sudden, like once that's gone, this is why people are irritable. And this is why it drives me nuts, because when people are on social media and they're off it and we're having a conversation face to face, they get agitated because the speed at which we're having the conversation is not the speed at which they scroll.
Yeah.
And you're like, slow down.
Yeah.
Like, you're moving way too fast,
which is so unfortunate.
It is. I was behind this girl in a movie theater once. I was watching her on her Instagram, blazing. She was blazing. How do you even
get any content back?
It's just like dopamine. Then she looks at her friend and she's like, snapped a selfie, posted it like within seconds. And I thought, you are missing like this experience that's going on right now. Do you remember when we used to go to like a movie theater and just chill?
Yeah.
Like
I love going to movies still.
Yeah.
But I don't look at my phone. Like if I have my phone, sometimes I forget it, because we're also of a generation
I do that all the time now.
In a life that didn't have phones.
You're in the gap.
You're
in the gap.
To being able to exist without phones.
Yeah.
And so that's quite the interesting. But yeah, like, or like we used to go to, not me because I didn't go to
listen to this. We're talking like old people right now. Like,
but like we used
I remember back in my day.
But they were like great times.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They were so good. Like I think because Josh and I talk about a lot about nostalgia, because we lived in a great decade. I mean, and everybody's always like, my decade is the greatest, but I'm like, no, the
90s were so cool.
The 90s were so fun.
There was no like wars going on. There was a couple of them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I know there was stuff happening like overseas and whatnot. But for the most part, like parents still worked 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't like.
But there was still the freedoms of like being able to just be a kid. Like that's why I think that's why we're so weird, because we grew up
100%.
like just being able to be kids, but we had like different ideas from like Nickelodeon and stuff like that. And so like,
hello, Mark Summers.
Yeah, so like there's like a very small
what a creepy weirdo
frame of people though who like we knew how to be kids, we knew how to be weird kids, and we knew how to be without our devices.
It's so true.
And so we attended things all the time without our phones. So I forget my phone all the time. Well, and I'm fine without it.
And there's times where like I'll just leave it at home. Bethany will be like, "Where's your phone at?" And I'll be like, "I just didn't bring it." And she's like, "What happens if?" And I was like, "You have your phone, I guess. You know, like I guess we're knocking on people's doors if this doesn't work. Like I'm gonna ask humanity to be great, I guess."
Yeah.
But it's true. Like and the social media side too. Like another greasy thing is when you can Monday quarterback stuff. For those of you that don't know what Monday quarterbacking is, it's like the person who
sit behind.
analyzes or whatever the case is, and people will fire, like shots fired. There are people who have, now sometimes this is okay, like you want to comment, whatever the case is, like that's a dialogue or whatnot. But then there's people who like just underhanded comments, like you would not say that to somebody's face. That
keyboard confidence is
it's a real thing.
It's a thing.
Liquor and a keyboard. And let me tell you what, man.
When you mix both of them, whoa, what a party that is.
So go back to the 4th of July episode, because that's exactly what transpired is the liquor and keyboards. Not on our part. Don't worry about it. We're good, Mom. Somebody else got a little too excited.
Oh, man.
It's so true. Keyboard confidence. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, keyboard confidence. Where like people they get so brave behind screens. And it's almost like at this point, because of social media, and we've seen so much on social media, that like the human aspect, there's like a disconnect of some sort. And so like people say these like horrible, awful things. Like on TikToks, people have like canceled their TikToks because other people are like, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna rip your throat out. And it's like, whoa, you would never say that to somebody. You never say that to somebody like in real life. And it's like there's this disconnect where like people forget that like real humans are on the other side of are on the receiving side. You can't do that, people.
There's a guy, he like he flavors like his water, and he has like a water of the day or whatever. This is back like a while ago.
Water talk.
There's this is a thing. This is the problem with social media too, is everybody's got their thing.
Yes.
But like in the comments, people be like, "You're fat. You should die." And I'm like, "Whoa!" He's talking about water, like. Let them in. They're like, do you know how much crap is in like all that stuff and all this, whatever. And I'm going, I'm sure he's aware. Like,
and if he isn't, like maybe say it nicer.
Yeah, like, hey man, aspartame's not the way to go. Like, or people like posting like articles, like aspartame will kill you, and you're like, hold on a second, like.
He's just trying to post the water.
DM him or something. Actually, there was a comment on one of them, and they're like something, because I have a water bottle in front of me. They were like, plastic water bottles like are bad for the environment or something like that. Like, you should have
everything in this environment anymore is gonna kill you.
I'm like, bro, they're like 2 water bottles a day. Are you for real? Like, how much are you going through? And I'm like, you don't even know where this man lives. Like, just go, like, move along. It's almost like who's worse, the guy who's making the water videos or the people who are like, your water videos are the worst.
I know. And there's been so many, or like, you'll see like I don't know, there's some like stories of people who are like just trying to like get in shape. They're severely overweight and they're just like trying to change their lives.
Yeah.
And then there's people in the comments who are like, you shouldn't be trying. You might as well just keel over. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Can you say
it'd be
something
awesome
with love?
if you could drive to those people's house, just open up the door and just like smack them and be like, and then just close the door and walk away. They're like, what is it? August 12th, 3:12 p.m. That comment you said. Like, not acceptable.
I would smack them with like a sticker on the inside of my palm.
Oh, yeah.
So then it sticks to their face.
Some
so that
baby
they
powder
know
with it.
Pop! And then they know why. Because just people are so cruel because of that keyboard confidence.
But here's the thing. If you go knocking at that person's door, you ring that doorbell, they're hiding behind a couch. They don't answer the door either.
Yeah, so true. Everybody's so scared.
Like, yeah, that doorbell rings. When the doorbell rang when we were kids, it was like, here we go.
And now, like, if Amazon knocks on my door, then I'm like, go get him, dog.
Amazon called me yesterday. They wouldn't deliver a package because my dog was out front. I didn't answer the call. I'm like, I don't have that number saved. I can't help you. And then I got home and I was like, oh, sad. Where's my package? Like, and it's like totally my fault. Like, answer your phone.
So that's a good like grease. I feel like social media has like removed people
100%
from being able to talk to other people.
This dude for Amazon, I checked the Ring camera. He's standing outside staring at my dog.
You could have gone on the app, call me. And you were like, stranger danger's calling me.
This guy, he's got a box in his hand. He's standing outside my house, and he's just like looking at the dog. My dog's a basset hound. He's not gonna hurt you, buddy.
Where was he outside?
He was in the driveway. Like, he's just staring at the dog. He's like,
wait a minute, did the Amazon driver make it to your porch?
no.
Oh.
He wouldn't deliver the package.
So he was just standing there.
So my dog is on a leash. Like, he's on this thing. He's on a tie out, right? He can't go far. He's in a circular thing. He's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't like you. But he's a basset
barking.
hound. You're a stranger.
You're impeding on his property.
Yeah, like you are on his space. Like,
Yeah.
so he's standing there with the box. I checked the Ring camera, and he's just like staring at the dog. And then he calls me. I don't answer the phone because, you know,
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Like, it looks like spam. I'm not going to do that. Now I know Seattle, Washington calls. That's Amazon. And then he calls again, and I ignore that one too. And he gets in the car and leaves. And I'm like, that's on me. That's my fault. I should have just had you leave.
Yeah, I do know they don't deliver anymore. Like, we also have a lead. There's no way that my dog is going to be able to reach you.
No.
But I had a package delivered, and the UPS guy, he had come out, and he was like, just to let you know, if your dog bites me, then I can no longer deliver any packages in any future. Yeah. And so he was like, so make sure that your dog's inside. And I was like, he's on his lead.
You take out your phone, you immediately delete him from your social media
Get
accounts.
off of my page.
Listen here, Gary.
Yeah, he told me that. And so
that's how I met my UPS guy. What up, Alan?
Hi, Alan.
my Bethany cracks up. She's like, I don't know if it's okay that you know our UPS guy's name. I was like, he knows where I live.
Alan. He brings us our toilet paper.
Yeah, it's like of all the people to befriend in life, he would be one of them. Yeah, it's helped me in a massive. And we're kind of moving into graceful things, but that's helped me immensely because like he has Facebook messaged me before, and he's like, hey man, I got this package on my truck. Like, I'm going by the church. If you're there, I'll bring it to church. If not, I'll just bring it to your house. And I'm like,
this is so nice.
Alan, I love you, man.
Our UPS driver is phenomenal.
He is. He's fantastic.
He was missing
Do you know
for
him?
a while. Yeah, he used to come into the restaurant all the time.
Yeah.
And so he would come into the restaurant, and then when I got this new job, I would like randomly see him, and so like go into whatever building he was in front of and be like, "How are you doing?
Hey, buddy!"
Because I didn't see him anymore as regularly.
Yeah.
And so then he stopped. He stopped for a while. I don't know what happened. And so I should have reached out on Facebook. I didn't, but
it's totally like I would not know him though if social media didn't exist.
Yeah,
like I have no idea, and I don't know how that happened. Like people probably like, did you stalk him? Like, did you look him up? I'm not really sure how that transpired, but
how do
regardless,
you know half the people you know anymore.
Like, well, of the 3,000 people that I have on Facebook, like a lot of them are acquaintances or we met a couple times or whatever the case is, which is fine. I'm good with that. Like,
see, I don't add a lot of people. I only have 835 on my Facebook.
I do because I'm a contributor. So like that's the only reason that I will. Like, unless you add me as a friend and you have like 2 friends and you have like scandalous photos and you're from Uganda or whatever the case is and you're trying to peddle something, like I won't accept you. But for the most part, like a friend of a friend or whatever, that happens all the time, and people like come on my Facebook page for content, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah,
it's totally
that's
fine.
True. That's true.
Okay, so
do you have any other greases?
I mean,
there's so many.
There
people use it
are.
as search engines all the time.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It doesn't bother me a whole lot.
People air their dirty laundry out on
That's
Facebook,
a big one,
and that really bothers me.
Yeah,
like, and then or people will be like, "Hey, y'all, you need to pray for me, but I'm not going to tell you what it is." Well, then
don't post it.
Don't post it.
Yeah,
because like, what? I'll pray, but also like, sometimes I like to pray for specifics. I can't just be like, I'm gonna pray for Carla's cat, and then I find out
there are some things.
I pray for Carla, and then I find out that it's like her cat threw up a balloon.
Yeah, and you're like, but there are some things like you can get too personal too. Like, had my colonoscopy yesterday. Check out these photos, and you're like. No, like you need to take that photo down.
Take it all down.
I got no polyps. Nobody needs to know that.
But people post stuff like that all the time.
And kind of what will happen is people will post in the comments like, "Yay, no polyps," and you're like, "Don't encourage it.
Perpetuating this madness.
You are encouraging this. Like, don't do that."
I feel like social media should just have stayed as like a feeling great today.
Yeah.
Feeling blessed today.
Or Sharon will like post underneath that like, so glad I was there with you to hold your hand through the process. And you're like,
Sharon, you were holding his hand while he was getting
Sharon,
his cold
no, like no. I'm glad I got to drive you home.
Oversharers. And I don't understand the oversharers.
You got to stop.
Maybe just like get some friends.
Get some friends. They're like, I have 10,000 friends.
In real life.
Those are not friends.
Get some in real life friends.
But in real life friends, like that's social media has kind of destroyed that a little bit because you don't know how to interact. Like, this drives me nuts. Like, the notification thing now, I have no notifications on my phone. No.
I turn them off.
They're all off, all gone.
It's such a distraction.
Can't deal with the little red notifications. Like, all those need to go. All that stuff needs to go. And when people check their watch, I'm like, ooh. Like, that is the greasiest thing you could possibly do, as my watch just goes off right now. But, like, that is the greasiest thing that you could do is look at your watch while we're having a conversation and be like, oh, hold on, I gotta check this. You wouldn't do that.
No,
like, it's an interruption, man.
I am very much like, if I'm hanging out with friends, then I'm not like, if my phone is out, it is to record or take a picture of, but like I don't post them hardly at all on Facebook or Instagram. Like, I'm not a poster. I have learned, I see a lot of people post like repeatedly, like how I decorated my home, and I'm like, cool, it looks really nice, but like I don't need to see fall 2020, fall 2021, fall 2022, fall 2023. Like, they're all
which
pumpkins.
is why I unfollow people. That's exactly why I do, because if I want to go in and see that, like, and if that's your gig, cool. Like, I have some interior decorator friends, like that's their gig, they post that all the time. I have a friend of mine, one of her things, like, I like to be at home. And so like she posts all of her stuff is all about like being at home and stuff like that. Cool.
But
like,
I search for those.
Exactly.
I don't want to really like just see them. I search for them. If I want that information, I will look for it.
Give me some graceful stuff, man. We're on the negative bus.
The graceful
negative
aspect, I feel like, is like, because of social media, it has made people feel, including myself, less alone in some things, because there are like content creators. Like, I'm talking more specifically, I think TikTok has really been good for this. For
you're a big TikTok fan.
Yeah, I am. Because I've learned a lot of stuff on there. Like, some of it is useful.
Do you feel like you're disciplined with it though too?
No, I deleted it because
gone.
I deleted it because I felt like I was like kind of spiraling.
Good for you.
From that. And so I was like, I need to get back into just like existing, because like any second of free time, it was like,
boom, you're on your phone.
Look on it for a couple of minutes while like while I'm waiting for my water to boil. No, like, while you're waiting for your water to boil, take out the trash, like, or
pray or whatever.
Yes, anything like that. And like, it was coming in,
or be mindful of what's in your space.
Yeah, and like, it was kind of taking over. Like, I was noticing that instead of like reading my Bible in the morning, I was drinking my coffee and scrolling through TikTok every once in a while.
Right.
And so once that starts kind of taking over like the important aspects of life, it's immediately out. I did the same thing with Facebook. Like, once I notice it, then so I just deleted it.
Good for you.
But there are some things that I have learned that have been extremely helpful, and it makes you like, especially in TikTok world, because it's videos and it's like people are doing these like 30-second to 60-second videos of like into their lives.
Yeah,
you don't feel alone in certain aspects. So like, a lot of times I'm just like, oh, so I'm not as weird as what I thought. You know what I mean? Like,
you do that too?
Yeah. And like, you realize like, oh, okay, so like, I shouldn't be, I don't know, like, ashamed of farting in public, because like, look at this dude, he blew out his britches in Walmart. You know what I mean?
It happens.
You know what I mean? So like, but just like,
there are things we say on this podcast where after we hit stop, we're like, can we go back? Like,
listen, everybody toots every once in a while.
That's it out loud. I'm super
Did you know
sorry.
that if you held in a fart, then it turns into a burp because the air has to escape somewhere?
Nuh-uh.
I'm dead serious.
Of all the things you know, that's one thing you're banking on a positive.
The air has to escape. It's air that's been trapped in your body, or it'll like
seeps out another location.
So Maybe I learned that on TikTok. I'm not really sure. But anyways.
Like, there's air coming out of my fingernails right now. I can't.
Anyways, so yeah, I think that in some ways, I think social media has like made a lot of people like realize they're not alone as what they feel, especially like if they have some kind of ailment or an illness, like then you can be connected with somebody completely across the country that you would have never known about. And then you two have this camaraderie because you're both going through the exact same thing. Yeah. And I think that's a really cool, you're introduced to people that you would have never in a million years have met. I.e.
Facebook groups, which is the only reason why Facebook's still around.
I'm not a Facebook group person.
You might not be.
Well, I'm into new ones now.
There it is. Like full transparency, like this is relatively new for me in regards to just a couple years, but like I've learned a ton about like my basset hound because I'm a part of a basset hound. So like if he has a problem or whatnot, people be like, take him to the vet, you know what I mean? Or they'll be like, no, it's just a basset hound thing, you know, like, or whatnot. Or I ride a very, very specific motorcycle. So like there are questions that are just keyed into that. And that type of motorcycle is overseas. So like those people who ride them overseas will bring knowledge into like that and they'll start talking about it and you go, wait, what? Yeah. Like that's a thing? And I live in Podunk, Indiana. So like this guy the other day, I kid you not, from France was helping me with like navigating a couple things. Cool. Yeah. And he was so cool about it. Like he private messaged me and was like, hey man, like we're going to take this off the group and I'll walk you through like all this stuff. And like, I get chills just thinking about it because then we started having a conversation about like life and Jesus and like it wasn't a weird creepy thing where he's like, hey, I'm coming to your house to kill you tomorrow. You know, I was like,
from France.
I'll let the dog out. But it was like a genuine like, hey man, like I want to help you. I had a guy one time in that group. He sent me a piece, no charge. He's like, I have 3 of those sitting in my garage. He's like, just give me your address and I'll send it to you. I totally was just like, this is not going to happen. You gave your address to
a stranger on Facebook?
100%.
That's okay. I gave a stranger my phone number like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, what did she do with my phone number? She was so nice, but I'm like, oh, no. I gave her my phone number. Right? I haven't heard anything back.
He even told me, he was like, I know this sounds super weird. He's like,
I'm not
have no
idea
who I am. He's like, I get that. He's like, I tell you what. He's like, the second I hit, like, I send this through the post office, I'll delete our conversation, like, whole thing. And sure enough, like, showed up at my house. There was a little handwritten note that was like, hey, enjoy. Aww. So good to get to know you. And I was like, what is happening?
So nice.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's
it was crazy.
So nice.
But it wouldn't happen. Like, if social media wasn't around, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't have happened. So, yeah, I think that's a really cool aspect is, like, just if it's used correctly, there's so much connection that can happen.
Yeah. And I know people who have, like, fallen in love and like all those things too. So like social media doesn't just mean like Instagram, Facebook, you know, things like that. But like there are applications where, yes, there are things that are happening and transpiring that are tragic and those things shouldn't happen, you know, but there are, I mean, we have people in our congregation who met online, like from an app and they're like, are really, really, really happy like with where they're at in life. And you go, would you have ever met, like, we would never have met with, you know, without it or whatnot.
Yeah. I think that's super
great.
Cool.
Absolutely.
And it also helps me a little bit because when I moved to Kansas and when I was in the middle of high school and it helped to ground me a little bit because like I still could see what my friends were doing. Yeah. And it helped me a little bit kind of like be okay.
That's true too, because like I still follow everything from my hometown is gone in regards to like my school and church and stuff like that, but like I still follow the town. So like I could tell you exactly what's going on in the town, which has been really neat to see because like I got a couple buddies who own businesses now that are there and they're successful, and I'm probably a super creepy weirdo just like tracking it, but in the same breath they would look at me and be like, no, that's cool, man.
It's
like we love that.
It's cool to see. Yeah, I mean like my high school was huge. And so like there was no way that I was going to know everybody, but like I still follow the people that I talked to.
And they probably follow you, right?
And like we still comment on stuff and every once in a while like, and like through Instagram, I think it was, maybe Facebook. but Instagram. I had a really good friend that her and I just after high school just kind of went our separate ways.
Yeah.
She moved to New York City. I moved back to Indiana. Like those two places are
Polar
worlds
opposites,
different.
I could never live in New York City. Kudos to
like,
anybody who lives in New York City.
Yeah, but like we kind of went our separate ways, and there was a couple of things that kind of had happened, and through social media we were able to like follow each other, and like now I'll tell her like, hey, happy birthday, like I still know her birthday, and like just random things, and I see her family and like her nieces and nephews now, and it's just really cool to follow. Like it's not like I want to get any gain out of it. It's just like I'm sitting back and I'm like, good for you. Like,
I think that's my other graceful side is because you can catch up with people really fast too.
Yeah.
So like if I sit down with somebody and or I'm getting ready to, you know, like go home or whatever the case is. I live here. That's not like home, but you know what I'm saying. Like if I were to travel back, you know, and I could hit somebody up and be like, hey man, do you want to connect? I'll just give you a great example. I have a friend who lives 25, maybe 30 miles away from where I grew up, and he follows me. I could legitimately go out to eat with him tonight if I wanted to, if we met in the middle, and he would know everything. Like all the things that have been going on. He would know what we're preaching on at church. He would know the age of my kids, like the whole 9 yards, and we could just pick up the conversation because of social media, which is cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of creepy.
It is a little creepy. Do you ever like, well, no, because you don't look at people's stuff, because every once in a while I'll be like, oh yeah, I saw that, you know, and then I'm like, should I have said that? Should I have said like, yeah, I saw you posted on Facebook that your toe was infected. How's that doing?
How's that going on? I was at your colonoscopy.
Why'd you share the pictures of your insides?
Hashtag, let's see, cleansing. Yeah, it's weird. I don't think it's weird. I don't know. Like, there's some people who will come up to me and be like, hey, man, I really, I'll give you a good example. So Bethany's dad's brother lives, like, in a town that's kind of far away. But he'll say this to me, like, when I see him, he's like, man, I just really appreciate your Facebook posts. And so it's kind of like a little nod of like, hey, I see you, like, and I see what's going on there, and I appreciate, you know, like you being positive and stuff like that. Like, so that's been kind of cool. But yeah. What else? Any other graceful side of things?
Oh, probably. I mean,
or we can go backwards to the greasy side if you missed something.
No, I kind of that was kind of my biggest grace, is like I just appreciate like the connection that people have had. I have honestly learned so
I'm
much.
with you. Yeah,
like,
I think that's the big takeaway is like there are, whether it's a group on Facebook or getting inspiration from Pinterest or searching hashtags on Instagram, like if there is anything that we could say about social media that's a benefit, it is you can learn so fast.
Yes. And there's so many different ways that people explain it. And so like if you're watching one video, there's always going to be another video that somebody else has done that explains it in a way that you understand it.
Yeah.
And so I've learned, like the other day, I forgot that I learned this, and it is the dumbest thing. When I tell you, you're going to be like, Kimberly.
Miss Cam.
Like, so when you're cooking with tomato paste and you have those tiny little cans, you know what I'm talking about? Like there's like 4 tablespoons in a can.
You can't like ever get all the tomato paste out?
You can't ever get it all out, okay? Yeah. So, and I've never been able to find this ever again. I have searched. I cannot find it. I'm so glad I saw it though. So it's like this page apparently on like TikTok.
Okay.
And it's like all these little tidbits that like our grandmas had, and people just share them on this TikTok page. Yeah. So the one that I saw was you take tomato paste can and you open both sides. Because of how thick it is,
just fall out.
Nothing's going to come out. And then you push however much you need.
Shut your dirty
from
mouth.
Why? No. And so like I forgot that I knew that. And then like 2 weeks ago, I was using tomato paste and I was like,
wait,
I know something. Because I was complaining about getting it out of the can. And then I was like, I remembered.
That's how I found FlavorCon. From
what?
Do you know what FlavorCon is?
Like Flavor Flav?
Flavor Flav. FlavorCon is the popcorn salt that they use in movie theaters. It comes, I kid you not, in a 1970 milk crate. Like it looks like it was made in the 70s.
You salt your popcorn.
100%.
I don't.
You would if you had this stuff.
No butter, no salt.
It's called FlavorCon. I take popcorn and tasting olive oil and garlic salt and FlavorCon and put it together, and it is actually, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How do you, because I've wanted to know this for years. I went to the Dutch Colonel, which is down the road. Sponsor us. And they can coat their popcorn perfectly.
And what?
I don't know. How do you perfectly coat popcorn in order for it to have all the ingredients like a salt stick on it? It always feels like some popcorn kernels get it and some popcorn kernels don't. It drives me crazy.
Well, it's probably something to do with like the temperature of which the oil is, like the amount of oil that's left on that popcorn.
But if you have it too hot, it will melt the popcorn.
Yes. But I'm talking about like however they kettle pop their corn?
No, because it's just like regular straight popcorn.
But they don't do it in a microwave.
No. I don't do mine in a microwave. I do it in a popcorn popper, like an 80s like.
It would have to be. I don't know how.
I want you to go ask your cooking friends. I need an answer.
I don't know what they put on it.
Why did I not ask you? I should have asked you this a long time ago.
Is it like seasoning?
Yeah. So like if
or
you're.
Are you talking about like sugar?
No, I'm talking
like
about if
the
you.
Color.
No, I don't care about color.
Okay.
If you pop your popcorn, I said that really mean. No,
canceled again.
No, moron. Like that's not what I meant at all. Like no, I meant like it's always perfectly coated. Every piece has a perfect coating on it, and I'm going. And I know they have these circular things that like like keep it going or whatnot. But in the same breath, I'm like, what are you putting on that popcorn where seasoning is sticking on it perfectly? I need to know.
Huh.
It has been the bane of my existence.
I don't know.
Maybe I should TikTok it.
Maybe. TikTok it. YouTube it.
When we hit stop, you're going to be like, I'll tell you. Hold on. Here you go.
No, I'm not reinstalling that until I can get right with that again. Like I said, it's a fresh delete. But I've been too busy today to even like notice it. So
Vibing.
That's been good.
I
have been. So yeah, I don't really have any other graces that I can think of.
I'm gonna back you on the learning thing. I think that's huge. I would say like it's just like anything else in this world. It is a tool, and if you abuse the tool, then you're gonna find yourself frustrated. If you use the tool the way it was intended, then you're gonna have positive results.
Yeah.
Like anytime you get so oversaturated with something and you look at this and you think to yourself like, this is going to be my savior. This is going to be the thing. Like, no. When you go to the bathroom, leave your phone on the counter. Like you don't need your phone to go to the bathroom.
No, you don't.
Like
you really don't.
Like it drives me crazy. Or when you're with somebody, shut your phone off or turn it to do not disturb or flip it over.
Yeah. Flip it over and do not disturb are great.
100%.
I do that I've done that today. Like do not disturb on
right
now because I'm like, I don't need to look at my phone.
I always forget to like hit the do not disturb. I had a call come in class today and I was like, oh no. Like,
mine like turns off after however long I ask.
Really?
Yeah. So like mine is set for an hour because this is an hour long podcast.
Oh, so then it just automatically goes back up.
Yeah. So then I don't have to do anything because otherwise then I will never remember to turn it back on. And like my mom will be like, I've called you 14 times.
Where you at, Kim?
Are you okay?
Where you at, Kim? All right. What do you want to know?
I just want to know like what are your thoughts on
social media?
There's a phenomenal documentary actually on Netflix.
Which one?
I've talked about it before. I think it's called The Social Dilemma.
Oh yeah, we talked about it a couple times.
Yeah. And it's interesting because even like people who are like founders of Facebook, like the creator of the like button, are on this documentary and they're talking about how social media has like turned into this monster that like they didn't intend for it to be. Like there was like
Isn't that life though? Like you never I mean you could build a restaurant, you'd be like, we never thought it was gonna be this big. Guess what? It happened.
Right. And he said like the guy says who created the like button, he was like, I didn't think that people would ever get to a point where they're addicted to seeing that notification. And he was like, that wasn't the intent. The intent was to just be like, hey, I like this. This is cool. And he was like, and it's turned into an entirely other thing that was not intended. So just what are your thoughts on social media? What social medias do you have? What social medias don't you have?
That was mine.
How do you use it? Like, are you using it to stay in contact with friends from high school? I mean, there's a lot of people that can reconnect. I have a lot of family that I haven't seen or heard from, but I have them on Facebook.
I would love to know like what you're using. Yeah, because I know all the kids.
All the kids.
All the kids are using Snapchat.
Snapchat.
They're snappers.
I'm not a...
Those little whippersnappers.
They're little whippersnappers.
They're so tiny. They're so tiny.
Yeah, I wonder what's the top one.
Be Real is a new one that's
Yeah.
just come out. This is going to be so dated. This episode's going to be gone in like a month, or whatever. But yeah, like, what do you use? Why do you use it? I'd really be curious about that. And then like just full transparency, are you addicted to it? Yeah. Like, I think if you were honest, like, would you say like, if this went away, would I be? My wife deactivates her Facebook account twice a year. Yeah. Like, and just like, she's a ghost. Like, she goes away and she's like, no, we're good. I'll come back.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did this morning, because I just noticed that I was looking at my phone too much, and get rid of that instant gratification. And
so with that said, like, comment.
Find us on social media.
Oh, man. Anyway, we'd love to hear from you. So greaseandgracepod@gmail.com. You can hit us up there.
Yep.
Stories, questions, suggestions. We're looking for future topics. We know the ocean was very popular.
It was. So maybe we'll talk about the
and
desert.
Kim thought it would be
I was so
floppy
confused.
flop. Oh, we can talk about the desert. I could talk about anything. You put a microphone in front of my face in an hour, we're good. Like, I can talk to you about anything.
So let us know if you want to hear about the desert.
Anyway, drop us a line, rate, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. If it made you laugh or whatever, don't cut off traffic. If you're listening to this and the truck driver's going down the road, be kind.
Be nice.
Put your arm up and your fingers down and hit that honk button.
Yeah.
And be like, hey man,
what is it called? I almost said arm bar, but I think that's a wrestling move.
I don't know. It's like a lever with a string on it.
Is that how they honk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you pull it down on the semis. They have like it's an air horn, but that's it. So
amazing.
we are on social media. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram, and we're on our website, greaseandgracepod.com. So you can tune in there too as well.
Make sure that you tune in next week,
because we're talking
because our topic is going to be Amazon. So I need some participation also to send in to greaseandgracepod@gmail.com. If you know of any great Amazon reviews,
we would love to see them.
Please send them in, because we need to see them, and it will be great. I hope that it's just an episode of us just going through Amazon reviews. So
we'll drop a couple of posts so that you guys can be reminded. But at the same time, like with us talking about Amazon, like, send us your best.
Send us some funny reviews that you have seen. I want to see them, preferably with images, please.
I want to be where the people are.
So tune in next week.
All right, we got you. Talk to you later.
Later.
Bye.